Hello guys and gals, it's me nirex and welcome back to the C++ beginner video, or course, or training, whatever. So, in the last one we talked a little bit about switch case. In this one we're going to talk about while and DoWhile. Now, there are, torture methods in the world that make people do something over and over and over again. Alright, like imagine going to a place where you're alive for an eternity and you have to just go to a place and come back to another place for an eternity and just carry something around. Now that's torture, right? That's just the worst kind of torture anybody could inflict upon anybody. So because everything that we do, because the repeating stuff is torturous, we came up with something called while. Now while is a loop. What I mean by a loop, it means the computer, the program, the app will do something a million times so that the user doesn't have to do it a million times. So, and there's a very famous saying, it says, if you're doing something for the second time, you're probably doing something wrong. Alright, probably. Let me just be a goddamn Shakespeare here. So if you're doing something for the second time, you're probably doing something wrong. Okay, and this something is not the same as this something. Now, for this reason, we came up with something called while. I mean, by we, I don't mean me included. I mean just, humans in general. Now, while is another kind of a conditional statement. It's not really a conditional statement, but it does take conditions. Okay, so it's actually a loop. So this guy is a conditional. This guy is a conditional, kind of, on value. No, it's a Boolean conditional. And this guy is a conditional again. Not really a conditional, but it also works on a Boolean value. So, kind of conditional. Not really a conditional, but kind of conditional. And while is quite easy to understand. Just as we used something like if true, we can say while true. Now I did give it a bit of a lookout in the last video, in the switch case, just to explain what break does. But today we are going to delve right into it and understand exactly what the heck is up with this guy. So while takes the exact parameter as an if. Okay, it takes in something like is 1 greater than 2? Obviously it's not. Is 1 greater than minus 2? Obviously it is. Is 1 equal to 1? Is 1 not equal to 2? Anything you want to give it, anything you could give to an if, you give it to a while loop. It's called a while loop, not just while loop. And it will happen, whatever you write here, whatever is here, whatever you write here, or whatever code will run for as long as this statement still applies. Okay, so if, for instance, I say I have an int called Iterator, which is 0. If I say Iterator is less than 10, okay, for as long as my iterator is less than 10, this code right here will happen. I can also do iterator plus plus right here, add 1 to the iterator whenever this while is going to happen, so it will happen 10 times. Now let's just make sure that it does. So we say iteration number, and then we do iterator. Quite easy, quite simple, nothing too hard, nothing too... I'm sorry, I should have put a damn indel here. So, there we go. Iteration number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so it happened for 10 times, and it writes iteration 1 because we actually up our iterator by 1 value before writing it. So 0 becomes 1, then it's printed, right? And that's basically how loops work. It iterates 10 times, it happens 10 times because we determined it to do so before going here. So it'll happen just like an if, it'll work as long as this is true, as long as this holds, and then it'll just jump right here. Jump right here, when the code when you come out of a loop. Of the loop. Yeah. So whenever your loop is finished, whenever this guy doesn't apply anymore, this is the line that you jump to. Whatever statement you write just right after this guy will happen. Could be an if, could be another variable, could be anything you want. Could be another while. Now, just like ifs, you can also put another if in here. You can put another while in here. You can put another switch case in here. So you have, you are free to do what you want to do. You're like Neo in Matrix. Okay, you can do whatever the hell you want. There are still rules though, not quite as free as Neo. But yeah, you're pretty goddamn free. Anyhow. Now let's say we want to see how break works. And yes, of course, I don't know why I said if has a break, if doesn't have a break. You can't really break out of an if it's not in a loop or in a switch or something that is breakable. Okay, so breakable is a bad idea. I mean, bad word to use. So let's say if iterator is equal to 5, we break out of the loop. So if iterator is 5, we break out of the loop. Simple as that. Now if I run it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just as it reached 5, this condition applied, we went in here and we broke out of the loop. And this is exactly what break does. There is another keyword that I want to talk to you about. It's called the continue keyword. Okay? Now, continue is just like break, but the difference is that break jumps out of this whole thing. Continue doesn't really do that. So I can say if iterator is equal to, like, say 7, we continue. And let's take that out because I don't want to break out of it. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Exactly what happened. So what happens with continue is that whenever you reach continue, it skips all the code that comes after it and jumps back to this guy right here when the while loop actually starts. So you can use continue to skip everything that comes after it. Everything that's after it, you can skip with continue. If you want to break out of the loop, you just say break. Now, in this case, our loop will just happen once, like an if. Iterator number 1, that's it, because we broke it without any condition. You come here, iterator plus plus, we don't care about this one, we print it, and there we go, break. And that's basically what it is, what this is, with break and continue. Now, there is another type of loop, which is called the DoWhile loop. There's another kind, of course, called the for, which we will talk about in the next video, not just yet. So, number 4 is DoWhile. Now, again, kinda conditional. It's not really as conditional. Let me just, yeah. And again, it takes a boolean. So, this was the simple while loop that we had, right? Now, let me just give you the homework for this one, and then we will talk about the DoWhile loop. So the homework for this one is that I want you to write a program that can calculate the sum, the addition or add. Let's say just it can add numbers from 1 to 100 together and then print the result. Okay, so add numbers 1 to 100 together, get the sum of all these numbers and then print them out. You can do it with a while loop. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. And this is the homework. Okay, so add 1 to 100 and print it out. So let me just calculate the sum of 1 to 100, then print it out. This will be the homework for this one. So this was the basic while loop. Now let's talk a bit about DoWhile loop. So we write it just as we read it. Do something while something, okay? Now the difference between the DoWhile loop, let's say I have another int iterator, which is exactly 10, right? Now, let's say while iterator is less than 5, so we want it to happen 5 times if it was 0, okay? But it's 10 right now. So let's see, out iteration and iterator. There we go. The difference between this guy and this guy is that we don't give a damn, we don't give a shit if this guy applies. If our condition applies, so be it. If our condition, oh, and you gotta put a semicolon here. If it applies, okay, so be it. If it doesn't apply, we don't care. This guy happens at least once, okay? Do this, okay, I've done it, while this is happening. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I did it once, oh, it's okay, but from the next time, make sure this is happening. Is basically what it's doing. So if I run my program, you can see that iteration number 10 is printed even though the condition was that iterator must be less than 5. So iterator must be less than 5 for it to happen, but again, it just happened. You can also break out of this one if you want to. Okay, so you can always use break and continue here without any issues, without any errors. You can again use another while here. You can use switch here. You can use if here. You can use absolutely whatever you want. You know, you're free to do what you want. This is a free goddamn environment. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. There was nothing much to go on. The only thing that was the thing was that I gave you this homework, and in the next video we'll actually cover to see how we can do that with absolute ease. Anyhow guys, that's it for this video. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment if you have any questions or have any ideas or suggestions or whatever. If you think I've made any mistakes, just leave it and I will try to convince you that I didn't make any mistakes and it was intentional. If it was not intentional, I will apologize. Yeah, so I'm sorry if I made any mistakes. Pretty sure I didn't, but if I did, I'm sorry. So that's that, and that's it for this video. If you did enjoy it, do that. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.